Yes, a good morning, a good evening, a good afternoon from wherever you are. My name is Ian Lana and I'm right here with Laban as usual. Yeah, this is the Bucket Podcast and we want to say thank you guys for always making sure that you're on set, making sure that you're watching, you're subscribing, you're sharing. We've gotten enormous feedback, Laban, and we don't take it for granted. As we always say, this is a table of creatives. We get to talk about things that happen behind the scenes, and definitely we get to bring you people who do different things behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You know, this creative industry, there are people who do different things and contribute to what we see in terms of branding, in terms of creativity, in terms of publication, in terms of, so many things. And we decided that as Backyard, we will try to come and have a discussion with them, right? Because there's so many people who want to do different things, but they don't know who does them, and they don't know how they are done,
when to do them. Yeah.
And there is a funny meme I saw, Laban. I read, I think last week, of where somebody was saying that, where they say, the early bird catches the worm. And then somebody says, you are there trying to be the early bird to catch the worm, but you don't know that somebody with connections slept with the worm.
But why the worm?
I think there are those worms that walk in the morning.
But also the worm woke up early.
Anyway, guys, Laban, how have you been, man?
I'm alright. I'm thankful.
How has been your week?
The week was good. Thank God for everything. Everything has been moving on very well.
What excited you in the last week?
What can I say excited me? Nothing. I can't spot something specific, but I was optimistic for the week. Everything flowed very well. Wow. I'm happy for the projects that I'm seeing people releasing for the. I think we are entering to the Xmas mode, the
Christmas mode.
Yeah,
the Chimere season.
Exactly.
We are about to know. Today's person whom we are hosting, we are about to know either is hosting us or we are hosting him.
Yeah, we might be lucky. Yeah, somebody might say I have a goat there, so we can have a time together. Yeah. Yes.
Today, I'm privileged, or we are privileged, to have someone whom, for a long time, by the way, I was hearing about him before I got to meet him. Those times when when he was more of a graphic designer, I used to do his works, and I would hear people talk about him. He has contributed to so many of the media houses. Okay, at least I was going to tell us, but I know of the three, he has at least contributed something into their branding. And there's so many projects that have got his touch, and man, they're really so beautiful. So ladies and gentlemen, with me, welcome Andrew Lutakome. Did I say it right? Andrew, welcome to the Bucket Podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for being busy.
Very, very busy. Very, 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 very busy. And we are privileged to have you on this desk of the creative. Coming back after purposing to go into the art, did you reach a point, or have you reached a point where you feel like you want to go back and do that, and that time when you're making the transition? Because remember, now there is Musei this side, what he liked, and now there is a new discovery of yourself. So did you ever reach a point where you were at a point of conflicting loyalty, where you're like, okay, should I go with this, that, and how did you choose the side?
I don't think I had that because I felt this was my passion. I loved this more. And I wrote something. They call them carousels.
Yeah.
And I named it Meet My First Love. And my first love was design.
Wow.
Because rethinking how I got into design is so astonishing. And rethinking how I got to vet is easy because it was influenced by Mosaic.
Yeah.
But design was influenced by the passion, by that love inside me. So I've never reached a point, and regretted is a big word, but I ever regret making this decision or trying to get back to vet. And I don't know if I should say this, but comparing design to my qualification in vet, the people I graduated with make less money than I do. So I wouldn't really consider going back. I don't know if it's right because to say, but
it is. It's like saying the people you graduated with, you have a better house than they do it.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So it would be tricky for me to go back to vet. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So in the same question or the same thing, how did your parents now or your family take the decision? How did they embrace it? Because a lot of people, a lot of us, we have a lot fear. We have something that we want to pursue. It's a passion, but because we have something a pressure that is coming from the family, we are not able to, as you said, you are able to balance. You didn't have that pressure, but now you have you have changed the career. How did your family now get to see not the vets,
but a computer graduate, a YouTube graduate designer?
It was not very easy. Them perceiving this, especially telling them you're going to design, and then they ask you what examples of design. You tell them business cards. They be like, you're going to go to NASA and get spoiled. They didn't perceive it very well.
Yeah.
But I prayed over it. I tried to explain to my dad and my mom, and at a certain point, even when I was with the laptop, moving around with the bag here, meeting what I would call clients back then.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't see any client because you are getting 30K, 20K. You're still living under their roof.
Yeah.
And even when I left home, they would call me and be like, Andrew, but why don't you get a job? So it was not very easy. But because now I believe I'm a responsible person, I could help them in a certain way or the other, or my brothers, my siblings and sister. They now see that, okay, design makes sense. Design at least saved us a couple of bills. And I'm thankful to God that I don't call them on a daily asking for money, because they would be like, at least let me pay for school fees, you go and get that degree. Or let me call someone to give you a job and go manage their farm or something. So they didn't take it very well, but I'm glad that it worked out, and it's still working out.
Wow, guys, we're still chilling with Andrew Lutakome. not the Kaida, Before the show, we're trying to go back to the Kaida one, but this is the designer one. So, Andrew, coming back, take us through, how do you now start going professional? And because you've worked with media houses, which you're still working with, how did you go professional, and which media house did you work with first, and how did you get there?
I would mention them here because this is how I get professional.
Yes, true.
So I'm not particular about the years, but they're not so very far.
It's okay.
A gentleman called Trinity Heavens was the graphics designer for Spirit, which now is Spirit Media Group. Was the graphics designer for 96.6 Spirit FM, 92.7 Bob FM, and those ones. And 104.5 Spirit FM Koboko. So during the holiday, because I was so associated to JK Shine, I would easily meet these people. So, and I meet Trinity Heavens. He likes my work. He gives me a gig.
Wow.
I impress him. So, writing my friend papers, he calls me, he tells me I'm leaving Spirit. But back then I'm also, trying to network.
Yes, to network yourself to see where you can fit.
And he tells me, I want to recommend you. Okay, so this is serious. So Trinity Heavens recommends me to Spirit now. Yes, Spirit in a row. I leave Spirit in one of my parents to take a bus, go for the interview. I need a digital manager, Mr. Tisanity. He tells me, so you're the Lutakome.
So you were also amused, like as I was, yes.
So I'm like, yeah. Okay, how are you going to handle this? I mean, you're doing first. So I explained it as well, like I told you. And I had a job. So after getting the job, I graduated. No, before I even graduated.
Yeah, as a vet.
As a vet.
Or a
When I
vet.
get back home, the following morning, they told me to do this. I just went back home today and they didn't make this following day. So it gave me an opportunity to start working for Spirit. Yeah, so I support Spirit as a graphics designer, and I started to only being a graphics designer, but conceptualizing. So which makes me an art director.
Yeah.
And I was at the inception of Spirit TV Uganda. So we start Spirit TV. I'm not saying we start. I didn't fund it, but I was part of the team.
Yeah, the pioneers.
Yeah. So I designed that Spirit TV logo and everything from the guideline, from the color palettes. Then I by steps become a creative director. Yes. So I supported Spirit all those years. Also became a producer for one of their shows and a couple of those. So that is Spirit FM, that is 92.7 Bob FM, 104.5 Spirit FM Koboko, and Spirit TV Uganda. Yes. So should I go ahead?
Yes, please.
So after that, I get an opportunity to work for a certain TV station.
Yeah.
I talk to Spirit and I leave. I go work for CTV. But as you know, the economy was not hey.
Yeah, the economy didn't.
Yeah.
Is that the time when we went into lockdown or?
That is after.
Okay.
Yeah, that is actually the second lockdown. Yeah. The one that was bearable.
Yes.
That's when I channel and go to CTV. But because of some economic issues, I wasn't able to be there for long. And then I transitioned to Salt Media.
Yeah.
And this is before I get to Salt Media, my work got exposed. I got exposed to very many people.
Yeah.
Some guy calls me, gives me a gig of about 60,000 per poster. I've never done that. I've never, been offered such kind of money.
How many posters were there?
There were only three. But because we were taken in a particular way of being poorly priced and not appreciated as designers.
You
By
felt
then,
like you had hit a jackpot.
yeah, I just came back from school doing something different, and then some guys offering me 60K per poster.
You're like,
So from 60K per poster, I impressed the guy. I remember those posters were for Sanyo FM.
wow.
And when I impressed the guy, he took me on for his freelance agency. So as I was working for these different TV stations, I would also be studying and learning from this gentleman called David Ogutu. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yes.
And he trains me into becoming more meaningful creative. So I'm not just a designer. I'm not just an art director, but a creative director.
Yeah.
So even when I go to CTV, I'm still under his guidance, his mentorship.
Yeah.
And I keep growing. So his agency is called Kafunda Creative.
Yes, I know that guy. I think did he work with NTV at one point? Yeah.
Yeah, he worked with NTV and Power FM and Sanyo FM, and at some point Bob FM. Yes. So I leave CTV, but of course I gained something. learned to manage myself, manage other people, and
also you got to manage yourself under the economy when it's hard.
absolutely, because the landlord didn't throw me away,
Yeah.
and I was able to foot my bills even in those hard times.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as I'm away from CTV, I'm friends with. I'm privileged to be friends with a couple of big guys in the industry.
Yeah, true.
And Levikson gives someone a call, and they give me a job at Salt Media.
Wow, just a call.
Yeah, just a call.
Man.
That's how the grace works.
Yeah.
Man, indeed, yes.
So I'm currently at Salt Media, and I will call manager design standards,
Wow.
and also producer
Yeah.
to The Gang. The Gang short for the Gang short for God's Appointed New Generation.
Yes.
It's a drive show that happens every weekday from 5 to 6:40 with very talented guys: El Shaddai, Moa, Emma, Patti, Jemo, and Vuchi.
There's a song of Patti I like so much, Dala Kudala.
Yeah,
So, katonda era kutwala Dala Kudala.
Dala Kudala.
Wow. Yes, Laban.
Wow, it's amazing you are about your story, and I was asking myself, this man looks very young, but he is holding big positions that will take years for someone to get there. And I kept on asking myself, what is the biggest challenge that you have faced throughout this journey?
Wow, that's a big question.
Yeah, that toughest moment that you reached, like, man.
I think being misunderstood in very many ways. I'll mention names again. While I was still in sorority, I used to design some work as I'm studying. But like Ian said, most people didn't know me.
Yeah.
Because for me, I believe that people want to know what you do more than who you are.
Yeah.
I mean, if they see, oh, this is a nice backyard logo, the next question will be, who designed it?
Yeah.
So I fronted so much my work and myself than my face.
Yeah.
So I designed something for some gentleman called Ronnie Habasa.
Yes.
By that time, he was at Power FM. So I come back in town. I'm going with my receipt book to, sign some money.
Yeah.
Mr. Ronnie Habasa told me, go and tell Lutakome to come. I want to give him the money, not you. Yeah. Not to give it to a boy.
So you are seeing a cowboy. That's the man. Yeah.
So misunderstood goes a long way, other than the perception. For me, I wouldn't mind because it would mean that, okay, my work communicated more than I do, which I wanted.
Yeah.
But many people don't see design or creative arts as something big. Yeah. Many people don't consider the knowledge, what you put in. They think it's just chusakano. Yeah. Yes, and I think that's not ethical. Even though I didn't go to school for design, I believe I know what the basics are.
Yeah.
True.
I design every day. That's why I believe I'm where I am. I don't wake up a day and say I'm not going to do it. I'll have to do it in a particular way. I have to find a way to do it. So people coming with their misconceptions, with their not ethical way of respecting design is the most challenge that I've faced. People butcher things, people treat things differently.
Yeah.
And by that, I believe in my career, if I was in a certain country, maybe not Uganda, I wouldn't have faced that challenge.
Yeah.
But because I'm here, I will front that as a challenge and a bigger one.
Yeah.
Because it's not cool. Not for only me, but for other different creatives.
Yeah.
Yes. People don't respect creatives.
Yeah.
Andrew, speaking about that, because I know there is someone watching this. He's a young creative, and he has so many questions he's asking himself, like, what has helped? What are those principles that you've stood on that have helped you one to climb these ladders? Because man, I give you respect, because there's so many people who are in the positions that you're doing today, but their age, it's a reflex of what they do. They are 50, 40 years, but now when
60s.
when they're out of creativity, I don't know how they do it. But what has helped you? What are those principles that can help a young creative out there that have helped you to, one, climb those steps to where you are right now and maintain becoming better and better?
Show up every day, whether you complain of creative block or what. Show up every day. God has blessed us with life, and we must be grateful by showing up every day, to be consistent at what we do. I told you earlier, I design every day, and I am so intentional. That's the second thing. By that I mean I will give you a reason for whatever I'm doing. I'm not doing things for the sake of doing them. And wisdom is like African fire, one gets it from the other. I want to learn and unlearn particular things. I'm not rigid. I want to learn every day. Even the best directors are giving master classes to people, but as they are listening to them as well. So they are learning and relearning and unlearning particular things every day. Yes, so I would say consistency, number one. I would say consistency by showing up every day. Be intentional, and learn. Be free to learn. There is a lot of information on the internet. You scrolling that TikTok feed that is endless should be, at least if there are like 100 videos a day, take like 2, learn something, because once you grow a skill, that's how people are going to notice you in different angles. Yes, so be consistent, be intentional, and continue learning.
Wow, he deserves a hand clap for that. He deserves a hand clap. Now, you see, I'll ask, it's very funny, but a straight question. I know you've done a lot of works. Are you just going to tell us which one has been your best work that you looked at up to now and be like, man, that. And then, which one of all those works you've done, those projects that you feel like, man, this one really got me on my wall?
Okay. People may not know this because it's not anywhere in my portfolio. And I'll start with the best. Being a self-taught designer, to be tasked with designing a brand manual of a huge brand is one of the, first of all, good thing if you pull it off, but also tricky. I'm a self-taught designer. Most of these things, page by page, I had to research.
True.
But I'm very proud of myself that I pulled it off. There is a brand, I believe, if they are not women, and some men know it. There is a salon called Livara.
Yes, Livara, I know it.
Yes. So Kafunda Creative, like I said, took on the project to redesign and give a proper brand image for Livara for particular years. And I was tasked to design their brand manual, brand guideline. That is like a 50 plus document.
Wow.
And if I'm showing it to someone, I'm really proud to say that I pulled it off.
Wow.
Yes.
That's amazing.
And for the other projects,
that one that you felt like, man, this is a pain.
I believe there are many, but I don't recall them. To be honest. Because I don't want to. I know it is disturbing because on particular nights I look at different portfolios and be like, man, what am I doing? These guys are really on top of their game. But I don't think someone can trust me with their project. And I just do, I'm like, chiganye kamwebuwi. I don't think so. And if that happens, I have another plan.
Your reserve plan B.
What I do is that I design what he wants. I give it to him and also design another one. And I be like, what do you think about this? Even though they go with the other one, I still put this on my portfolio. And then I consider that as a job well done.
Wow. That's amazing.
Wow. Andrew, he has mentioned something very, very important for us to understand. He first said you were created by the Creator to be creative.
Yes.
You are creatively created by the Creator to be creative.
Wow.
Mr. Ma and Mr. Ian,
Yes.
I know sometime you were a lighter of hip hop.
I used to write some lines, bro.
Do you,
that would be a line in a song. It's a full song,
yeah,
actually.
so it's amazing, and your story is very, very encouraging that you can't be limited. You have to, leave the box. There's somebody who told me there has been this narrative, you have to go outside the box. Then he told me, why do you need the box? Just remove the box and move.
At some point, I used to say, forget about thinking outside the box. Create your box. Invent your box. Invent your corners.
Wow.
Wow. So, Andrew, looking at the creative industry where it is now, what is one thing that you can say or you can inspire someone that it's good to be in this art industry, doing production, doing artworks? What is this one thing that you can encourage the young person outside there who is feeling he has the vibe to do that but doesn't know what to do?
Nice question. So I will still go back to my three because but before I go back to them, let's first go back to, do you really want it? Do you really love it? Because however much we are here seated and speaking about it, it sounds fun. At some point it becomes over demanding and it becomes very difficult. So if you're not purposeful, if you're not intrigued to that purpose that you really need to design, you really need to produce, you really need to show up every day, you won't do it. So you need to fall in love with your craft first. Yeah, because there's going to be a point where you don't need to fall in love with it. But maybe falling in love with it first is going to encourage you to create it
Continuously.
I mean, there are many people who write things down and don't do them. Yeah? First do it. Take the first step. Because if I didn't take the first step, maybe I'm in somewhere in Karamoja treating trypanosomiasis. Yeah? And I will be there and my life will be so hard.
Yeah.
Yet God put this thing on my plate for me to try. And I failed to try it.
Yes.
So I will encourage them to try. After trying it and falling in love with what they want to do, let them do it every day. I mean, we all support football. Okay, I'm sorry for those who don't support it. But Messi trains every day. Or Cristiano Ronaldo. That's why he's better. And I want to be better at my design work or my creativity. That's why I have to create every day, to think every day, to design every day. So be purposeful, do it every day, and be intentional. And as the journey gets very sweet or gets wider, this intention starts to grow. That's how I told you initially I was just a graphics designer. But if you just call me a graphics designer now, I won't feel so comfortable. Though I may, but because I'm more than that, I became so intentional that I realized I'm more than a graphics designer. Upgraded to being an art director and a creative director or even a producer or stuff like that. So once you're intentional, then you start to see your weakness, your strength, and then you go for your strength.
Wow.
And practice your strength.
See, one time, Lutakome, when they had just started a theme night on, was it Burnout?
Yeah.
So I'm chatting with Lutakome, and Lutakome, he tells me about one theme night where I wanted all the backyard artists to come in. I think that was a period when we were about to release the Action Talk album. So I asked him, how is the night looking like? So he took me through the creative part, how they wanted to do it, the setup, and as a creative on the other side, I was listening to him and like, wow, okay, this is... And up to that time, I had not met him. But I've heard about him. I used to hear a lot about him. So But the way he was explaining this, as what he has said, that is more than a graphic designer.
Yeah.
The person who was telling me those words, I saw he was more than a graphic designer. And I think you are right to get annoyed when people call you a graphic designer.
Yeah.
On the other hand, you've contributed to, you're one of the people who has contributed to the gospel industry, be it in the media world, be it in the music world. But you see, we have a challenge of the branding. And I believe you have also noticed how our artists are branded, how they present their work sometimes. From your perspective, because you are inexperienced, you've come across them. What is the challenge? Is it the pricing? Is it that artists want things very fast? Or is it that they don't care about branding?
I think they don't care about branding.
Why?
It's time to answer that question. But it's so absurd. Because it's not the price. Because I believe there are some people have done artwork for at a cheaper cost or for free.
Yeah.
I mean, I fall in love with your project and be like, man, how about you do this? And we do it.
Yeah.
And it's not the pricing. It's not, they may want rushed things, but if you communicate very well, I believe they understand.
Yeah.
I think it's the perception. Yeah, which is more of a challenge, which is what I talked about. People perceive things differently. They think design is just design. They don't take it seriously. Or branding and what. And I want to state this here on the Backyard Podcast.
Yes,
that branding is an experience. It's not a logo.
Yeah, true.
You're putting on a logo, Ian Lana, on your t-shirt and coming to a concert. It's not branding.
Yeah.
No. You singing very well, doing it consistently, follow it up with what you call branding, design and all that.
Presentation and
that is branding. The energy artists putting on their logos on the t-shirts consistently, event by event, should be the same energy they put in the experience we get
when they're on stage,
in the studio, at the video shoot. It's called the Triple S.
Yes.
Shoot, studio, stage.
Wow. I'm sure they have heard.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have had it clear. Yes, Laban.
Yes, on the same thing, when he mentioned about the people don't mind about the branding, I asked myself the virtue of patience. I know you have dealt with so many people.
Yeah.
Is it the pressure, or somebody comes and says, I want this artwork out by tomorrow, and gives you a lot of pressure without? Do you think also the issue of patience among the artists is also something to consider?
Should be something we should consider, but I believe there is a solution. The solution is professionalism, and this is how I personally handle it.
Yeah.
Once you contact me, ask you questions. And these are the questions. 1, how fast do you need it? What is your budget?
So the budget determines how fast.
Yes. because they are like those are determinants on how the project is going to look like.
Yeah, true. The
budget and how fast you need it. And are there any inspirations? Like, do you have something in mind as a creative? Because I believe you are. Then that determines. I mean, you don't want to have an animation done in 2 hours. Let's say you want to have let's say a lyrics video.
Yeah.
Top notch, done in 2 hours.
Yeah.
And you want it to look very nice, and you have less budget. Everything contributes to how the outcome is going to be like. Yes. So I won't give what my pricing is.
You can leave us with the menu here. You can tell people the menu.
It's dependent.
Yeah, true. On what?
On very many factors. 1, I may approach you instead. Okay, let's say you've approached me. It will depend on your budget. The reason as to why I ask your budget, it's not that I don't have a price. I may say a price and you get scared. But if you've approached me, I respect that. And for me, for every project, I give extra deliverables. You may want an artwork, then I talk you through about how you're going to promote it, and ABCD. And maybe if I give you that price, then it's going to cater for all of that. But for you, just want njagala ntekereko audio out. At least it's called audio out. I will give you a number of people who I know that do audio out. So I will work within your budget. If you're not understanding creative, I tell you, you know what? This is your budget. Na yongerako katini tukole bwetuti. There are some who say, okay, just, do. And you work within their means, and professionally everything is out very, very fast, like in the absolute time, and neat. And so I believe you have to take note of who's doing your work. If it's me, you're guaranteed quality work. Though I'm expensive, and I don't take a lot of time. I take enough time, because I'm also considerate of what you want to push. Maybe your calendar is already due and you want to put something out. Yes.
Wow. Andrew, I will also ask this question. I remember, Laban, when I was still at campus, I think that's the time I got my biggest gig, and I still thank God. So when I was still at campus doing my mass communications course, I remember by that time it was a hustle, we're staying in the house, campus, so I was staying with a birthday, then a birthday has another birthday, were like 4 in the room. But then as coming to the close, I used to serve into the church media ministry. So I received this call at one of the banks, and one of the church members had recommended, because we used to do that news bulletin of every Sunday, and they recommend me. So I go to this bank in my open shoes, I remember, because, man, it was tough. And then I get into the bank. Remember, I've not yet graduated. It was my biggest, it's like the biggest office I've been invited in. And the guy asked me, I remember the MD was from Singapore, because the owners come from Singapore. So he asks me, okay, they wanted an ad, they had a product they wanted to put out. So they asked me, what is your budget? And now remember there I've entered in, you're trying to bring in. Now, that is the hardest question. Now, because me, I was from campus, my budget was in, I was thinking of 400. I even don't know what's the amount of the advert I'm going to do. And one of the marketing guys was my child friend. We grew up, we used to play video games together. Those video games, you would go and visit them at their home. You beat them so they also come to your home. So he was one of the guys on marketing. And then he asked me, Ian, how much do you want? Speak. Now me, in my head, I'm still at 400,000. I'm like, I don't know. And the guy says, tell us, do you want 10 millions, 8, 15? Now, I had him talk about that.
Wow.
So I gave my best shot. I think I charged about 6. So they pulled back down to 4. Now, to me, I think that's a load of money. So, being a bank, they gave me 2 million cash down there. I went, rented, even before thinking about the project, rented, brought a mattress, started life. Now, starting to think about the project, I have 1M. Then I asked my colleagues around, creative guys. Now, they told me, now you need to hire models who are going to do the advert. You need to get a cinematographer. You need to hire equip. And now the locations. Those are things I don't put into consideration. But my question is, have you ever got in such a dilemma where you ask a question, what's your budget? And you don't know. Because me, by that time, I didn't know my worth. I didn't know the pricing of the project. But then, I thank God that I did the project. But then, amidst the project, these guys changed their script. So when they changed their script, I went back annoyed.
Revenge time.
Remember, the man had gotten finished even before finishing the project. Back annoyed. Now you guys were finished shooting everything. Now you've changed. They're like, no, don't worry. We're going to add in more money. Like, yeah, now that's the money I'll use to finish. But have you ever reached to that point where they ask you what's your budget, you don't know. And sometimes you've underpriced something and then you face a point of looking for more money to finish up a particular project. It may not have been money, but you may realize you needed more time, and it was supposed to have cost more, but you charged it less.
Underestimating. Yeah. I have, like most creatives do, I'll first speak about the money issue. Most creatives are very hesitant. They're very shy with figures.
Yeah.
Because this is a gift. Yeah. So to them, they are so sympathetic for clients.
Yeah.
They ask you, what's your budget? How much is this? And then you start playing, what's your budget? What's your budget? Yeah. But you want to get Yeah, but I outgrew that stage. By entering a conversation that speaks figures, I know the weight of the project now. I'm going to tell you about that story later. Yeah. And I know how to handle it. I even went into a point of doing a master class about negotiation and pricing, so that I know how much my worth is. Yeah, I remember with my friend, I really would want that he listens to this. So we're at a certain workplace. They tell us, you work for this particular period of time, we're together, and then after that time, we're going to increase your money. Yeah. And when that time reaches, we're like, man, we're going to have approaching Atucha. So we go and do a master class, learn about negotiation, and how you talk to the bosses, on how much money you want to be an increment on your salary. Yeah. And we managed to do that. So that was a test and it worked. So, one, I've not been in a tight situation like you were in. But it was a favorable one. Among these TV stations, one offered me, one asked me, there is a cheat usually right on what is your expectation, what. True. So I asked them, but how much can you raise? They told me the money, and I didn't expect it. So I don't know if it was the Holy Spirit, but I doubled it. I told them, you know what? I want double of that. And then after negotiations, we reached a resolution that I get much more money than what they had budgeted for. Wow. So for me, it was a positive way, other than this, because they had presented a different amount, and I asked for double, meaning that I wanted to be like the big man in the house, so they can consider my suggestion. And by the grace of God, I got more money than expected. Though, after some time, I was like, singa na sigala ku double. But I'm still thankful.
Wow, it's amazing. So Andrew, I'm gonna ask you this question. You know, there are a lot of people out there that know what you exactly do, and they frame you, this is a guy with, he's loaded, you know?
Yeah.
Have you ever walked in a room and everyone says the savior has come? And there's a word, from where I come, there's a word they use, it's called bazoo. Bazoo is the rich man, you know? How have you ever handled, and yet you know that in your pocket at that time?
Savior. Achimala.
Achimala too, say.
Usually I'm a very good planner. I know I will have this money here and
go
here
to this
and
place, this place I'll avoid it because of this and this here.
I think the way I've gotten out of such situations, for example, I don't know if I should mention this, but let me just mention it. So I'm on a date, and someone knows I'm loaded. And even me, I know I have some money somewhere.
Yeah.
So, these technology things.
Yeah.
So I try to access my mobile banking.
It failed.
Nothing.
Huh? Yeah.
So I'm grateful to God that I have friends. I just give them a call and they were able to save me. So, Bazu.
Yeah.
Bamuyamba.
Bazu has helped.
Yeah. Bazu has helped.
Well, guys, we're still at the Bucket Podcast. Please remember to subscribe, share, and comment. And definitely not forgetting to press that notification button. Always these podcasts come to an end when we feel like you still want to have a conversation. But again, we need to leave people still wanting more, because there will be time when we need to call Andrew back. But Andrew, before we let go, have you ever reached into, because I believe you are born again, you're Christian.
Yes, I am.
There's so many creatives out there. We inclusive here back. There's some projects that we gave up and accepted. This we can't do. You get. But on your personal perspective, how do you take it? Have you reached those projects that you feel like, or are there projects that you've not done because they cause you to compromise the principles maybe of your faith or maybe of what you stand for? And how do you advise a creative out there? Because just like you said on the other part of the artist, that branding is about the experience. And remember, your experience comes as a result of the things you do back door that we don't see. You get. And we see through your experience, we're able to know your inspirations, because you can't fake that. Because we're your fans, we follow you every time. So we're able to read. So even you, because I'm sure there are creatives out there who are still trying to realize themselves and find out their worth, but even at their standpoint. You get. So to you, how have you handled that, and what's your take on that?
Usually these projects tests.
Yeah.
And I used to have a saying when I was very broke. I'm not saying I'm so loaded, but I was like, the goal is to become rich. For every project that comes.
Yeah.
But you find that at a certain point in life, there are certain projects that are going to leave a mark on you. And it's only by the decision that you took to do them.
Yeah.
So there are some principles you have to set as a creative. And so as not to compromise on your craft. So I believe for every creative struggling, there are principles. Just like that if a person wakes up in the morning, they have to brush their teeth and whatever. If you skip brushing your teeth, you'll have or if you don't shower,
you'll have a heavenly scent.
And those are the repercussions I'm talking about. Because you may say kanyangu we, but you're going to meet people, right? So I'm giving that illustration so that if it is like a project, you have to set some principles and live by them. Because if you go by the goal of making money is not everything sometimes. What most people now pray for is peace of mind. Yeah? I imagine myself, let me give an example of a model. Your dad maybe is a pastor. And you are on the biggest beer brand billboard in the center of the city.
Yeah.
It will compromise. First, your reputation and people that are surrounding you, even though you've secured the bag. So I believe we have to set principles and live by them. And yes, I may have compromised sometimes in the past, but it gave me a lesson. And from the lesson is why I'm speaking this to you, that you shouldn't, because it's going to come back at you at a certain point in your career or your life.
Wow. Yes, Laban.
Andrew, as we come to a close, when you look at the creative industry, especially where you are right now, what is that one thing that you would want to see a change in the next 5 years to come? Or which improvement, if you were to change something, if you were given resources, everything, to change that one thing, what would it be?
There is a position I didn't mention earlier. They keep compiling, I am also creative lead for a Rosie brand. By Rosie, I mean a very promising brand that is coming up called Church Laughs. Church Laughs is an initiative focused on building strong Christian creative communities through the most neglected areas of the fraternity. And those are like comedy, poetry, dance, and maybe charity. And we call ourselves advocates for change. If I were given the resources, I would forcefully teach people the benefits of branding. Let me put it in a perspective of business, for example. Do you know there are particular products that don't go out of Uganda because they are poorly branded? Because the branding on the outside is going to give an image of what's in the inside. No one's going to consume your product is poorly branded. So, to answer your question, I'll forcefully teach Ugandans. I don't know if they should put branding on the curriculum somewhere because it's going to affect you. Branding is an experience. If we don't teach people how to create experiences, they are going to butcher, maneuver, and do many mistakes in life. So I believe the creative industry now, tackling it specifically, should first of all be respected. Even though we have very many doctors in Uganda
and lawyers.
What can bring us together foremost is the Uganda flag, which was designed by a designer.
True.
That's an identity. So I believe we should consider branding as an aspect of our lives, and we live by it, not because we are bragging, but it is crucial that we should be branded. How will we differentiate you from another person if you're not branded? And by branding, I don't mean you put on your logo, but the way you take your life, the way your routine. Yes. So I believe generally for the country, I would forcefully teach branding. We are advocates of change in not only the Christian area, but in the entire world. I keep telling my members or my fellow members at the Church Laughs that you never know. Christianity may be giving birth to a poet who is going to represent the entire Africa at a huge stage in the UK. And then we're not giving them platform. Let's be advocates, create that platform. So I'm an advocate for branding in Uganda. I offer consultancy for branding at a reasonable cost. DM me at Lutakome SNR on Instagram. I'm on Twitter, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Behance if you want to see part of my work. So you can reasonably think, channel your mind, and do things in the right way by having to choose the right experience by branding yourself very well.
This one goes to Mr. Andrew. that one goes to Mr. El Shaddai and Uncle Mark for the great work they're doing.
Yeah.
I know we'll soon be having them on here on this podcast.
Yeah.
They're doing great job. Church Love is one of the big projects and a big experience that we experienced the last time. Big up to you guys.
Man, big up. Andrew, we're so much humbled. I don't know whether to say it's so sad that this podcast has to come to an end, but I believe you've really spoken a lot in my life, and I believe in Laban's life. And I know somebody who's watching this podcast, they have learned one thing or two, because it's our end goal. As we have this conversation, we will learn from each other, and even people outside there, they'll get to understand a few things. And I'm sure out of your experience, out of your conversation, they have learned this. Laban, your last shots as we let Mr. Lutakome.
To me, Mr. Andrew, I'm so humbled. I've learned that age is just a number. And you can do as much as you can if you only focus. And to everyone who is listening to this podcast and you are watching this podcast, you are a young person and you want to get into this, to do something, you can only be limited if you only limit yourself. So stand up, create your own box, as Mr. Andrew has said, and do what is needed for you. Yes.
All right, guys, we can't really go beyond this, but we want to say thank you so much for listening to us, for those of you who are listening to us, and for watching us, for those of you who are watching us. This is the Bucket Podcast, and it has been me, Ian Lana, Laban, and then Andrew. See you next time as we get another experience from another creative. God bless.